So I called her and I was like, look, I feel pressure in my vagina. Can you call the doctor? She's like, oh yes, honey. So then the other nurse came in. It was,
Instinct.
hello. Welcome. Come in. Okay, so most likely, if you are watching this video, is because I announced that I had twins. Don't mind the nursery; it's in progress. It's being worked on. Trust me, just things are really delayed. But anyways, with that being said, let's get into it. So if you don't know me, I'm Kelta. I have a son. I'm married. I don't want to say where I'm from. I don't think I should. But I'm Kelta, married, one child, well now three. I really just wanted to share my story because it's been weighing on me for a long time, and I just really wanted to share because it's a beautiful story, and it's just been sitting on my spirit that I should share my story. And I just feel like, until you don't do something, you just don't feel right. That's me. So let's get into it. Me and John, my husband, decided we wanted to have another baby. We had just gotten married, bought a house, and we are really doing well. So I am a planner. I like to plan things, and I knew that I wanted to get pregnant, so I went to go see my gynecologist, and I told him what was going on, and okay, a little history. I had something called PCOS. What is PCOS? Polycystic ovarian syndrome. Pretty much, I have more male hormones than female hormones, so and I can get cysts on my ovaries, which will make one of the main things is I don't have regular periods, regular cycles, right? I don't have regular periods and regular cycles, right? So without regular periods and regular cycles, how can you get pregnant? So he decided, I went to go see him, and he decided to run some tests, which is one of them was a progesterone test, which indicate whether or not I ovulated the previous month, which I know I didn't because I didn't have a period. So he decided to put me on some pills called progesterone. And with the progesterone, what it does is it will like trigger my body to get a period, so I could basically start from scratch, right? So I took the pills. I got a period a couple of days later, and from there I had to track my cycles. I did a lot of research, I did a lot of planning, I did a lot of timing. My OB even told me it takes typically a year to conceive, and thankfully for us, it happened in 2 months. I did a lot of things to conceive. I did a lot of research. I got into groups. What was other people trying? I mean, granted, I didn't take anything like some people taking supplements, anything, and all I really did was track my cycles. And excuse me, that worked. Thankfully. So I got pregnant. Found out I was pregnant with twins. Let me tell you something. I think that was like the most shocking thing that I can honestly say I've been told. Mind you, I'm somebody who have really high risk pregnancies. So with twins already being a high risk pregnancy, now I am double high risk, right? So I have something called a short cervix. What happens is during the second trimester, my cervix opens and I can go into preterm labor or even have a miscarriage. And with my son, I had to have a cerclage. At 12 weeks with my son, I had a cerclage. Basically, a cerclage is a stitch that they stitch up your cervix and to maintain a pregnancy as long as you can. So with the twins, I wasn't sure if I'm able to have a cerclage because with twin pregnancies, things tend to be a little bit more complicated. But thankfully, my doctor was willing to do it, and he did it for me when I was 13 weeks pregnant. And after masterclass, I had some really bad complications after, um, from the anesthesia, because when you have the cerclage, you are pretty much like an epidural. You numb from the waist down. You can't feel anything because it's a very painful procedure. Somebody is sticking a needle in your cervix to stitch it, so very painful. So I had some complications from that, where I had something called pressure headache, I think. So what happened was I got the spinal tap on my back like an epidural, and I had some really bad side effects. I had a headache that would not go away, and I only had relief from it when I was laying down flat, and I was throwing up like crazy from the headache. So I had to have something called another procedure in the OR called a blood patch, which pretty much they went in, took blood from my own arm and injected it into my back. And right when they did it, I had relief. Okay, so that was already, and after that, because of that, I spent about a week and a half in the hospital, pregnant with twins, and they sent me home maybe a couple of days after my. So the first couple of days, they didn't know. They weren't willing to do the blood patch because they just wasn't willing to do it. I had to practically beg for it. When they saw that the headache wasn't going away, they decided to do it. And I was in the hospital for about a week and a half. I would say 2 weeks, but not the full 2 weeks. So after that, I went on to have, a normal pregnancy. I was working. I was okay. I mean, being pregnant with twins kind of make you feel everything pretty early on, and I had everything early. Okay, so what happened? So with that being said, when I was about 23 weeks, I went to a doctor's appointment with my MFM, which is a maternal fetal medicine, which sees me aside from my OB because I'm high risk. So I had an appointment, I had an ultrasound, and guess what? My cervix was open. So pretty much twin A was literally chilling in my cervix. And it made sense. I had a lot of pressure. I would have a lot of pressure, and just overall was very uncomfortable. But I'm pregnant with twins. I thought that's what it was. I was bigger than I should have been because, once again, twins. So I went to my doctor's appointment, and my twin A was literally in my cervix. I was 3 centimeters dilated, and my bag was basically coming down, and the only thing stopping the twin from coming out was the stitch. So the stitch was intact, was doing what it was supposed to do. So what happened was I was in L&D triage. Then I got transferred to L&D because I was only 22, 23 weeks pregnant, and they really thought I was gonna have the twins within any minute because of how low baby A was. But thankfully, with the last 48 hours, I didn't have any contractions. I had some irritability, but that's normal with twins. So so then I got found out I had to live in a hospital. So I was living in a hospital for the remainder of my pregnancy. Okay, so from L&D, they told me that this is scary. I can't go home. It's possible I'm at risk for preterm labor. My psychologist don't know what it's supposed to do. But there's a chance that I will have my babies early, which is common with twin pregnancies. Most twin pregnancies don't make it to full term. And with somebody like me with a short cervix, cerclage, there's no way I will make it full term. I didn't with my son. I had my son at 35, 36 weeks. He was in the NICU for 10 days because he had to learn how to eat and maintain. No, he had to learn how to eat. And when he first came out, he was breathing funny, but that had resolved. But he really, main thing was he had to learn how to eat. So with the twins, I knew I was gonna have them early on. Now, so I had to live in a hospital for a long time. Let's just say it was a long time until I had my twins. So imagine you're in a hospital, away from your family, COVID, can't really have too many visitors. So my husband and my mom was like my main visitors. And I had some friends that came and see me, and a lot of people honestly are probably gonna watch this video and are now just finding out that I was in the hospital for that long. My friends, they knew I was on bed rest, but I never said I was on hospital bed rest. So a typical day of a hospital bed rest was me waking up, seeing my team of doctors, which it was a whole bunch of them. My team of doctors, and them asking me about how I was feeling, what's going on. Multiple NSTs, which is non stress test, which they'll put me in a monitor every 4 hours to get the baby heart rates to make sure there's no D cells or whatever. Multiple of those every 4 hours. Every 4 hours. You have to have an IV placed in at all times. I'm gonna attach some clips and pictures at the end of the video so you can see what my life was like when I was pregnant with my twins. So that's like I was really like MIA. This is just like an intro video, just getting down to the gist of it. But I'm gonna make videos about talking about my fertility journey, being pregnant with the twins, and of course going more in depth about what was going on in the hospital and things like that. So those are gonna be like separate. I'm not, if I do it, it's gonna be like a whole bunch of probably hours worth of videos, and I don't got time. So yeah, I was in the hospital, and unfortunately I did not make it full term or really late preterm, how they would call it. So I had my twins early. They were in the NICU, and it was really, really challenging. They were in the NICU for 7 weeks, I would say. So my pregnancy was very short, but I made it to a very good point. Where they came out breathing on their own. They didn't really need too much intervention. They just really had to grow outside of my belly. My labor and delivery story, I don't know if I'm gonna make that into a video of its own and what happened that day, but let me just kind of make it short. So I was in the hospital for a long time, right? And I was fine. I mean, I was okay. But that day was just a very gloomy day. And mind you, that I would have been stable for so long, that I was supposed to go home that week. Actually, I was supposed to go home that Monday, but I had to go to labor and delivery because I was having contractions. I don't know. It was my husband had bought me some food the night before, and I don't know if it's because I ate the pickles raw. I used to crave pickles and bun. That's like my number one craving. So that's plantains and bun. And pickles, like, which is the hot pepper. And I used to crave that so bad. And sometimes I would eat the pickles raw. So I don't know if that was causing me to have contractions, but I was having contractions. So of course, my plan to go home was like, I don't know. My team of doctors was like, no, you're just gonna stay the remainder of the pregnancy. So that Monday, I spent a whole day in L&D being monitored for contractions, which I was having, but I wasn't really like uncomfortable or anything. I was just like, it was coming up on the monitor, but I wasn't feeling them. And I got sent back to which is called the antepartum unit, which is where I was. I went back to the antepartum unit. I was fine, you know. Took a shower, and then I was like, you know what? I told all my nurses, look, I want to go to sleep. I am tired. When you're in L&D, you cannot eat and you do not sleep because they're constantly coming in to check on you and whatever. So that Tuesday, I was fine. I didn't really have nothing. My team, they came and saw me, and I was like, everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I feel good. I feel great. You know, I'm chilling. But that night, I was just up all night. I was talking to one of my nurses. You know, just talking to her. She keeping me company. I was just up all night. I didn't have no sleep, and something else was happening at home with my mom. So I was dealing with that, and I just really didn't sleep. And so that Wednesday, I slept all day. Like, I told my nurses, look, don't come in here if you don't have to. And I just want to sleep. So I would get a break for like 4 hours because, like I said, I was getting anesthesia every 4 hours. So I was getting a break. I was taking a nap. And it was just like crazy how that day happened. Like, everything really happened how it was supposed to. Um, I, I, um, I slept, right? Then I woke up around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I called my nurse. I was like, and it was 4 o'clock. I would have my NST, so I knew I had to wake up. So 3 o'clock, I woke up. So I wanted to take a shower, and it's funny when you on that floor, you're not supposed to have regular clothes. You're supposed to be in a gown at all times, and you're supposed to have an IV at all times because you can just go into labor at any time. And it just so happened that that day I didn't have any more clothes. I had clothes, but it just wasn't clothes that made no sense. Like, I would have shirts, but I didn't have pants, and or I didn't have underwear. Like, it was just all of it. And my husband was supposed to bring me clothes that night. So I just said, let me get a gown and I'll wear it until my husband come or whatever. She's like, okay, cool. So she gave me a gown. I took my shower. I put on my gown. So mind you, I was spotting too, and from labor and delivery, but I told my doctors, but they thought I was because I was getting cervix checks and my cervix was irritated, so they would kind of like brushed it off. I was like, okay, cool, whatever, y'all the professionals, I don't know nothing. And so I had on a gown, I had on my underwear, and I had a pad because they wanted to monitor the spotting to make sure it wasn't getting bright red, but it was still like soft and pink and mucusy. And then I would really have to make another video in that day, like go into detail. So I put on a gown, took a shower, and she put me in the monitor at 4. And I wasn't uncomfortable, but I could feel I was having contractions. But sometimes the monitors, they so tight, so you don't know if it's contractions or like whatever. And I have a high tolerance for pain. Like, my pain tolerance is really, really high. So if I tell you I'm hurting, I'm really hurting. So that day she put me on a monitor, and at 4, my anesthesia were every 4 hours. So I was 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12. So I was on the monitor for about an hour because the babies kept getting off and on, and you have to have a how do you call it, a reactive monitor where it's consistent for at least 20-30 minutes. But my twins, let me tell you, twin B, that baby, that baby, he did not stay on the monitor. So he kept coming on and off, on and off. So it was like an hour long because, yeah, the doctors want to see like a good tracing, as they call it. So what happened? So then it was around 5 something. She was like, I'm gonna take you off. I called the doctor. They said it was fine because it's been an hour and the babies are reactive and things like that. But I was having and I started having contractions, but I was having them all day, but it was just getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So then I'm really summarizing, but I really want to make a video about this another day. So I I was having contractions. So I called my nurse. I was like, look, I think I'm having contractions. Can you just put me on a monitor? She was like, oh yeah, sure, honey. Like my nurses are really good. Everything I wanted, they listened to me. And she put me on a monitor. And the monitor was not picking them up. So I will have the contraction. I'm looking at the monitor, nothing. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? Maybe it's not contractions. But then again, with the contractions came a pressure in my private part. And it just felt like I had like to go to the bathroom, like number two. And I was like, no, this doesn't feel right with the contraction. Like something is trying to come out. So I called her and I was like, look, I feel pressure in my vagina. Can you call the doctor? She's like, oh yes, honey. So then the other nurse came in and was, monitoring me or whatever. And while she went to go to the doctor, I kid you not, my doctors were in my room in like 5 minutes. That's the fastest they've ever come to my room when I've complained or something. Listen, they was up there in like 5 minutes, like maybe less. So my doctor that usually check my cervix, because you want the same person to check your cervix at all time. So she checked my cervix, and the first thing she was like, oh no, honey, you are 8 centimeters dilated. Your baby's head is right here in my hand. Mind you, before that, I was on FaceTime with John. I was like, John, I think I'm having contractions. He had just gotten home from work. He was with the baby, well, our oldest son. And I was like, look, I think I'm having contractions. And he was like, no, it's probably Braxton. Braxton Hicks, like, typical things I would do when I was having contractions. But when she told me that, the nurse grabbed my phone. I don't know how she called him, but she called and said, you need to get here right now. That's all I remember. I know in the mirror I have a cerclage. So with contractions and the baby pressing on the cerclage, they had to hurry up and take my cerclage because the cerclage could literally rip my cervix because it's a stitch. It's like a fish wire. If you ever seen fish wire, it's like that type. So it could rip my cervix. And that day was so crazy because she literally like, it was so many people in my room at once. Mind you, on that floor, I cannot have the baby on that floor. They have to take me down to labor and delivery and the OR because I will have my twins. And I have to have my twins in the OR. So she hurried up. All I know is she was feeling around for my cervix to find my cerclage because my baby's head was on my on the cerclage. So she had to cut around him to get to my stitch. And then miraculously, she got it and she put it in. She said, I got the cerclage. I got the cerclage. And then they rushed me down. Like literally all I saw was lights. Like I was in tears. I was crying. I was by myself. My mama wasn't here. My husband was not going to make it in time because of where he was. I was just in tears. So they wheeling me down to the OR. I was on the 7th floor. The labor and delivery is on the 4th floor. They wheeling me down like style. Like all I know is I got in the OR. It was a room full of people. Like I saw probably like 30 people in the room. Mind you, I'm having twins. It's an emergency C-section, emergency delivery. My twins had to have their own 2 teams of different people. I had my team of doctors. They had their doctors, respiratory, NICU, whoever was there. It was a whole bunch of people in the room. That's all I remember. And then my doctor called my husband, which I have a really good relationship with her. She called my husband. She's like, where are you? Are you here? Like, I just told her he's not going to make it because he has to take my son to my mom. I knew he was not going to make it. So long story short, I was in the OR. I was on the table, the delivery table. I didn't have time for the epidural. I pushed out my twin egg. It was a risk associated with delivery. I always wanted a vaginal delivery. I did not want a C-section. And I did not want a C-section. Like, no, they knew that. They always knew what I wanted. So they told me in the risk that both of my kids was head down. So I was able to have, I would have been able to push them. And that's what I went for. I pushed out twin A. No epidural, nothing. Listen, that pain? Listen. When I was pushing him out, it was the funniest thing. When I was pushing him out, when I started feeling the ring of fire, I was like pushing. And then when he was coming out, I was like running back and they were pulling me. I'm running back. They pulling me. They was like, no, don't move. You gotta push. And they was like, push like you going to the bathroom. One last push. He's right here. Push, push. And baby, I push with all I had. And all I knew was I just heard him crying. And then I opened they, picked him up, put him in front of me. And I was just like this. And my doctor told me the next day, because she came, she was like, your eyes went like this when I seen him. And then unfortunately, they did an ultrasound for next week to make sure he didn't, because sometimes when they have that much room, they flip. And that's exactly what baby B did. Flip. And then I had to go under for emergency C-section stat. Like, all I know is they put the thing on my face. They draped me. They shaving me, because, I hadn't had shave in a while. They shaving me. And I went under. Like, I don't remember anything. I don't have no pictures, no memories, nothing from my twin delivery. And I sad about it. I was by myself. But my doctors were really good. The nurses were really good. Like, two was holding my hand. My anesthesiologist, he was rubbing my head. My doctor was talking to me. They were just really, like, even though I didn't have close, intimate family, but at that moment, I really had like a really good support. And they were telling me I was gonna be okay, that I'm okay. I have everything I need is right here. And all I know is they put me down, and I woke up in recovery, and I just saw my husband walking to me. I was waking up like this, and I just saw him. He was like, Kelta, he was so scared. And the next day, my doctor told me, yeah, I ran into your husband in the waiting room when we told him you had the twins, because he had just made it after I had the twin B. And when we told him, you had the twins, he just broke down and started crying. I believe it, because he did the same thing with baby J. And she said it was so beautiful. I wanted to hug him, but it was COVID. I was like, no, it's okay. And my twins went to the NICU. And that's a different story. And I went through a lot. I have to really make more videos about, so just let me know if you're interested in knowing more about what I was going through. But that's where I've been. I had twins. I was living in a hospital for a very long time that I don't care to say, but I was living in the hospital for a very, very, very long time. A lot of people that knew that I was on bed rest, but they didn't know it was hospital bed rest, because I just really didn't want to. Like, I'm a very private person. Like, even when I was pregnant, my friends didn't know I was pregnant, so I was like 3 months pregnant. Maybe a little bit later. Like I'm very private. Like my own friends. Like, I tell my friends things, but it takes a lot, because it's just some things you just really gotta keep to yourself. But yeah, that's my story. I'm gonna make more videos about things that happened. But I had my twins. Now we went from a family of 3 to a family of 5. When my nursery is done, I'm gonna show more of it. It's a lot of things here, but you obviously can't see it. I got the cribs already. I'm waiting on like the personal stuff to come for this wall right here. And I have it's just real cute. It's really nice. I'm gonna do a twin reveal. And my twins, thankfully, they look nothing alike. Like nothing, thankfully. One look like baby J, exactly like baby J, and one look like my husband's mom. And thankfully for that, like, because I would not be able to tell them apart if they looked identical. They're fraternal, so they had their own sacs and their own placentas. But thankfully, I thank God that they're here, they're healthy. There was not really major intervention that had to be done. They just had to learn how to like grow outside of my belly, because they really came early. So yeah, so I'm gonna make more videos. My ring light just died. I don't know what happened. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna make more videos, just really going more in depth, because I feel like this was really rushed. Just in depth about what I went through, what happened, and things like that. But right now, that's my twin story. It was very scary and traumatic, and the recovery was hell. Like, if you had more than one C-section, I commend you, because baby, when I tell you I was screaming the next day, I was screaming. The nurse was like, mommy, you need to stop screaming. I was in pain. And believe it or not, I'm supposed to be completely healed, but I still feel soreness from my wound, and I hate it so much. I hate looking at the scar. Like, I'm thankful that my kids came out the way they're supposed to, but it's like And I commend anybody who's ever had a C-section or has had more than one C-section, because listen, and thankfully I'm not having no more kids. God willing, if he wants to give me more kids, I'm thankful. Hopefully a girl. But me personally, if it's my choice, I'm not gonna try to get pregnant. I don't want no more kids. And I think yeah, that's it for us. John knows that. I told him that all the time. No more. 3 and done. And I always wanted 3 kids anyway, so I'm just a mom. Boy mom. I'm a boy mom. Well, thank you for watching. If you stuck out to this video, I'm gonna make, like I said, I'm gonna make more videos and things like that. And I'm gonna show the twins real soon. But I'm blessed. My family is blessed. I'm thankful. It was a beautiful year. 2020 was a beautiful year for us and a blessed year. And I'm just looking forward to 2022 and what is to come. And yeah, take care. If you want to see more of my videos, go ahead and like and subscribe. I don't even know why I said it. I'm not gonna be a YouTuber. I promise. I just really just wanna share my story. I don't think I'm gonna be a YouTuber. I don't know. If it's up to God's plan, maybe that's what's planned for me, that I may do it. But I just said, like I said, this was just something that's really been weighing on me, and I just felt like I should share my story. Of course I'm gonna go more in depth, but this is just a general story, a general part of it. And yeah, y'all take care. God bless. Stay beautiful, stay healthy, and most importantly, keep God first. Peace out. Why you always not when you come here?
You might be naked.
So, wow, really?
Yeah.
You see me naked?
I don't want to do nothing now on you.
So, I have been in the hospital for a week now. Just hospital bed rest. Can't go home. I miss my son. But gotta do what I gotta do for. Look who it is. I'm going to the NICU to see my babies. This is their lunchtime right now. So I bought milk. So I'm going to, well, not lunch, it's dinner. So I'm going to go see them, take videos. I just gotta say, like, if you have kids in the NICU, this is actually like something that really takes a lot of strength, because anytime you walk in there and it could be like, oh, your baby had a good day, or your baby didn't do so good today, or this is what happened. So you like really have to go in there expecting good, but also accepting the worst. So yeah.
You want to class?